What is good, y'all? Welcome back to my channel and thank you for joining me for today's mukbang. I have Five Guys. One of my favorite spots. I got a cheeseburger right here on the side. I got green peppers on it, something I never got before. I was like, let me add that in. I like that with a cheese steak, so you know, why not put that on a burger? Try it out. Also on there got grilled onions, and did I get pickles too? Oh no. Look at that, you see the steam coming off. Yeah, green peppers, onions, and barbecue sauce on that. And I got a bacon cheese dog. I've never had that from Five Guys. I usually just get the regular hot dog. So I got two things on the hot dog I never got before. And on there I just got mustard. I figure the bacon and cheese adds enough. And some fries, ketchup back here. And guys, water again, day 2. We on day 2. I might as well just finish out the month. We're just gonna cruise into December on water. And if anybody else out there has the same problem as me with the soda, I welcome you to join me on this no soda journey. I'm also gonna be reviewing A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, but just gonna dig into this food first. I'm liking the green peppers in there, guys. I'm really liking the green peppers in there. Absolutely delicious. Yeah, I love those green peppers in there. I'm feeling that. Good old fashioned water, man. That's high quality H2O. Everybody should know what movie that's from. That's high quality H2O. Hope you all having a great start to your week. It's very pleasant outside where I am. I'm enjoying the weather. We're gonna get into the movie in a second, and I can't wait to talk about it. But I want to eat a little bit more food before I dive in. I know I mentioned before my favorite foods is like donuts and pizza, but I feel like the tier just down below is cheeseburger. It would have to be. That's my big gripe of burgers. I need better bun, a stronger bun. All right, let me try this bacon cheese dog I got with mustard. Five Guys, a hot dog bun. Mmm. Very good. I probably should have got some sauce on it. That's my bad. I think I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna dip it in the ketchup. Where's my ketchup? Get some ketchup involved on the. I have a friend who, I think he watches these videos, who made me self-conscious about eating hot dogs with ketchup, but like I still think it works. Like I haven't like just something he said to me. He was like, "You eat ketchup on your hot dog?" I was like, "Yeah." But doesn't everybody? And like it apparently was some big deal. Like, oh my gosh, how do you have ketchup on your hot? Like I just something I always had. I don't know. I think I was a kid. And you know, your mom would make you the hot dog. I would cut them up when I was real little, and I would dip them in ketchup. But ever since then, I did not have ketchup on my hot dog. I like felt super like he like drove home the point of mustard only. I think maybe mix them. If you're only going to Five Guys and just got burgers only, I do recommend a hot dog if you like hot dogs. Up to you, of course. Let's talk about this movie. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. It's directed by Marielle Heller and stars Tom Hanks and Chris Cooper. Guys, I felt amazing when I left this movie, and great while I was in it. I love going for a roller coaster ride when I'm at a movie, but there's nothing like leaving a movie and feeling impacted by it and almost seeing yourself as one of the characters in the movie, and like looking at a reflection of yourself. Like the timing of it is crazy, and like the similarities in the character, it was just it just rang home. So the movie is laid out like an episode of Mr. Rogers. If you don't know Mr. Rogers, he is like the godfather or the king of like children's programming. Like his programming is so pure. There's nothing subliminal going on. It was the most pure child's program. It was on public broadcasting, I believe. And I grew up with him. And he would have different guests on the show, like the mailman, Mr. McFeely. He'd have his puppets, Daniel the Tiger, and King Friday the 13th. And seeing those old characters. And it just opens up with his morning routine and his song. They opened it up perfectly. Was it on the nose? Was it what we were expecting? Absolutely, and they gave it to us as perfect. One thing I want to say about this movie, as I go before I go into the story, is I feel like it took place in like the mid-90s, early to mid-90s. It doesn't tell you, which is fine because it's irrelevant. You can figure it out. There's references that tell you it's before 2001 because the Twin Towers are still standing. There's some like 90s type references, but more than anything, like it looks like the movie is shot. Like when you go to the movies now, you probably don't even know the difference anymore because we've been so conditioned with what's new. Like it looks like a brand new movie. It looks like a 2019 movie. It's high def. all that stuff. This looked like it was high quality VHS. Like, it was really good, but it wasn't like what we have now. It basically was shot and has the look of a movie from the time that it was being, like, it took place, the movie. So what the movie's about is there's this writer, Lloyd, and you're basically following his journey. Mr. Rogers is helping you out by watching this person's journey. It's like an episode. It was just so well done. And this guy, Lloyd, he's a writer for Esquire magazine and lives in New York. He's married, has a baby, but he is a little bitter about life. He's very bitter. He just has like a pessimistic energy. Like, he's a nice guy. Like, he's a good guy. He's not ever like directly mean, but he has a hint of passive aggression, short temper, and there was one scene, and you're basically following this to cut it short, because I kind of want to get into things I like as far as the plot goes. He has to write an article on Mr. Rogers as being a hero in, like, as far as America goes and like American pop culture and all that. And he has to write an article. I think it might have been just a hero in general, didn't specify. But he had to write this article. And through that, Mr. Rogers helps him overcome some of the things in his life that might be bringing him down, or like this bad energy that's just weighing him down. And Mr. Rogers helps him, like, appreciate things that he has in his life. So that's what the movie is about. What I liked about it, there's a scene in the movie. It's relatively early on, and Lloyd is putting in the car seat for his baby, and he's getting frustrated with it. Now, there's some mild language in it, which I like because it was realistic, but it wasn't anything overcooked. Because obviously, you know, Mr. Rogers show, there would never be cursing. But there was, because like this movie is taking place in the real world with this person, and the only way to tell the story accurately is to have some mannerisms like that in it. And he's putting in the car seat in the car, and he's just getting so frustrated, and he cursed, and he's like, it's impossible. And I looked, and I knew Q was looking right at me. I knew she was, because I do that same thing. Like, when I'm putting something together, I'm building something, or I'm fixing something, like, I fix it at the end of the day, but my process is I get irritated, I get agitated while I'm fixing something. And there was that, and there was, even when he was interviewing Mr. Rogers, like, like, you could hear, like, he went into the interview, and first of all, Mr. Rogers was the only, like, person that would work with this guy, because he's known as being, the way he twists the article and way he turns it makes the person, it kind of brings out the bad in the person. Like, that's just the writer, because he's like, he has a negative outlook on the world, and that has to do with issues he has in his own life, also like rooting with his father. So that comes into the movie. But yeah, he just has this pessimistic attitude, and Mr. Rogers read all his stuff apparently. So he goes into the interview with Mr. Rogers, and he's trying to, like, he went into it like, yeah, this guy is too nice. He's got to be full of it. He's got to be full of it. There's no way he's this nice and this positive. And so he said something, and I think this is what triggered Mr. Rogers. And by the way, Tom Hanks does a tremendous job, as you would expect. All the acting in the movie is very good. But he says something to him. He's like, there's Mr. Rogers, the character you play, and then there's you're Fred Rogers. And I think that hit him. I think that hit him because then he started, like, asking him questions about his life. And because, like, that's not a character. Like, he does TV stuff, like, yes, they'll go to the spot, but like when he's on the show talking to the camera, that's the same. It's literally the same exact person. And it was cool to see the behind the scenes stuff of a show I watched as a child. But yeah, he was just trying to bring out the negative in him. And Mr. Rogers, like, anytime he was fishing, like trying to reel him in. Like, I'm gonna find it. It's kind of like Joker with the Batman. Like, he's trying to break him. I don't know. Why do I have to make about comic books? Probably because I watched these shows. Probably Batman. I think Batman is what I actually transitioned into after I got out of Mr. Rogers. Because like, there's a time where like you're watching Mr. Rogers, you watch Sesame Street, all that stuff, and then there's just, you're too old to watch it anymore. You know what I mean? Excuse me. So I guess that's why I made the Batman reference, but yeah, he just wouldn't break though. He just wouldn't break. And Mr. Rogers, he's just such an endearing character. But there was a lot of cool parts, but another one I like, where Lloyd is talking to Mrs. Rogers. I think her name was Joanne Rogers, was his wife's name. And he was saying like, what's it like to live with him and all that stuff. And she's like, yeah, he's got a temper and all that. And like, for me, that was like, cause I have a bit of it, like with fixing stuff, that's what my temper gets in, like traffic. So it was nice hearing that like this guy who I never saw break, ever. You never saw, I don't think he cried, anything like that. Maybe he might have, but he never got mad. That's for sure. And he was just all about just dealing with your feelings, like deal with it your own way and find your way, but you have to deal with your feelings. You can't bury your feelings, and that's what Lloyd was doing. That was a good scene. There was a scene, I know I'm eating like a hot dog and hamburger here, so this is what I'm going to say now. May not make a lot of sense, but him and Lloyd went out to eat. And they were ordering or whatever, and then Lloyd says to Mr. Rogers, he's like, "Oh, are you vegetarian?" And then Mr. Rogers said, "I just couldn't imagine eating anything with a mother." I was like, "You son of a..." It hit me. I was like, "Oh man, why making me feel bad about like?" It was like, I'm going to eat meat on some level of my life, but like that hit you. But like his delivery wasn't like insulting to anybody. He never pushed anything on anybody. He never pushed any beliefs on anybody, nothing like that. He was just so genuine and pure and about you staying true to yourself. So like he wasn't gonna push something on you that he believed. But yeah, it also reminded me of my grandmother being in the theater. Like I used to watch the show when I was with her growing up. It just brought back positive memories of being with my grandmother, and you know, so that was nice. Like it was adult, but a kid could appreciate it. That's how the movie was shot. So, and that's the feel of the movie. It is like, yeah, I forget what it was right. I think it might have been, it had to be PG, it had to be at least PG or PG-13. But it just hit home. It just hit home, and like you have to look at yourself and you know deal with things. If like it was mainly about forgiveness. Forgiveness was like was the theme, I guess, in forgiving his past. I wouldn't want to give that too much of that away. I would want you to go into the movie kind of cold and watch it, because obviously I recommend this movie highly. Especially if you have kids. If you have kids, I definitely recommend it. Or if you're somebody who watched the show when you were younger, or you just want to go to the movies, or just whatever you got to do, whatever's going on in your life, you just want to escape for a little while and feel good and like have something just affect you. It just affected me. Just the sweetest man, but you learned he had his own problems, and how you've learned how he dealt with the heaviness of a lot of people coming to him with their problems, and how he dealt with that. Was he stressed about it? So it was kind of refreshing in that way to see that. So yeah, I highly recommend it. Tom Hanks is great. Chris Cooper is great as Lloyd's dad. Lloyd, his wife. Perfect. I love the little, like, anytime there was traveling in the movie, like, it would be like the little figurines of a city, or you'd have the little airplane on a string, like going up like that, or you'd be like the little cars on a bridge. It would look like a Mr. Rogers episode, and like in between when you were in the neighborhood. So I really love that, like this way it was shot. And it makes you want to think like a child. Like, what happens to our brains where they just get so convoluted with information and learning things about the world, and then you just lose like the positivity and optimism you had as a child. And that's what this movie, it like made me feel. I love when I leave a theater and I can have, especially if I'm with someone. This is why I like going to movies with people typically. There's times I want to go alone. It's like silly movies that I know I'm not going to get anything out. Something like this, I'm glad Q went with me. And it was like we got to have good conversation afterward. It was very nice. And movies that make you feel something when you leave, whether it be good, like this is all just feel good, like self-improvement, get to find your best self, do the best things that are right for you. That's the movie. And then you got movies like The Joker that make like are more societal and like, but I like them nonetheless. Like these are two different kinds of movies, obviously. But movies that just make you feel something when you leave are what I'm all about. And this one did a great job, so 2 thumbs up to the crew on that movie. Yeah, check that out. Thanksgiving is coming up. Pretty excited about that. I'm gonna get to see the family, and I'm gonna, as I touched on yesterday, I'm gonna be talking about not necessarily a Thanksgiving tradition, but a tradition that takes place near Thanksgiving. That's close to me. I'm gonna be talking about that in the next couple of days. And do a little cooking tutorial. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys are having a great day. It is beautiful outside where I am. And even if it's not beautiful outside, find something you like to do today, even if it's just for a few minutes. If you gotta work, maximize your time, enjoy, do things you like, and yeah, this movie made me feel like just do things that make you feel happy. But guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate your time and listening to also on my review on A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I will see you guys again soon. Until then, take care and be well.